25 most popular men's fragrances ever, from worst to best. Hey friends, Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope you're doing well. I took the 25 most popular men's fragrances of all time according to Fragrantica, and I'm ranking them out. Starting with Lattafa's Assad. Now look, I gotta tell you guys, none of these are actually bad, okay? They're all good fragrances. That's why they're in the top 25 most popular of all time. Unless somebody wants to troll and like start voting for something that's just absolute garbage and somehow get that up into the top 25, I would co-sign that, that's cool. But there has to be something in last place, and for me, it's gonna be Lattafa's Assad. Now, do take into account, if this were bang for buck only, this would be way higher up the list because it costs next to nothing. Of course, it's a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir, and by and large, it's a really successful one. It smells great, it performs, it gets you noticed. When I made this list, I was trying to take into account a bunch of different things. Originality, usability, quality, all of that stuff. And Assad, down here in 25th. Followed up quickly by Jazz Club, Maison Martin Margiela Replica. I know this is super popular and a bunch of people are gonna be like, sacrilege, you disgusting freak. How dare you put that so low? I don't like you very much. Fair enough. The reason this is down lower on the list is because I feel like for what you pay, it's not necessarily the greatest buy ever. The fragrance smells great. The quality is very good, but maybe not amazing. Performance-wise, it actually underperforms versus expectations for most people because you're expecting this boozy tobacco sort of scent profile that's gonna really project and last a long time, and instead it's kind of okay. This next one, Spice Bomb Extreme. Now listen, I know it's great, perfect for wintertime, right? And this one does last, it does project. For me though, it has started to be maybe overshadowed by a lot of other fragrances that you would wear during fall, during winter. It was hyped to the moon and back for years, you know, this spicy vanilla bomb. And to be fair, to reiterate for hopefully the last time, it smells great, all of these do. I don't dislike the fragrance at all. It's just possibly past its peak, past its apex. 9 p.m. Off Not. Another one, bang for buck, can't beat it. Smells similar to Ultramol by Jean Paul Gaultier. Compliment factor is there, fresh and sweet together, done perfectly. I guess it's technically docked points because it's a clone fragrance, which is why it's down here a little bit. But again, talking bang for buck, usability, this stuff is untouched. Perfect for guys who want something that's gonna pull compliments, that's gonna get them attention, and is not gonna break the bank. And wrapping up the first 5 in the list, Liquid Brune. Same deal. If we're talking about the fragrance itself, what you pay versus what you get, this is top notch. It was the first big clone of Parfums de Marly Altair, and it still is the most popular one, and that's because they pretty much nailed it right away. The first one did it the best, at least for most people. Fall and winter time, you cannot go wrong. This stuff is amazing. Now, all of these are gonna be linked in the description. Feel free to check them out down there. And if you want these fragrances or any others and you wanna save some money, here are some codes to do so, including a new code for Frag Flex, which you can save 10% off their website with, Gents10. Then I've also got codes for JOMASHOP, the Perfume Box, and many other stores. So anytime you're shopping for fragrances, whether we're talking clones, niche, designer, whatever, check these stores and use those codes to save yourself a little extra money. Next up, Eros Eau de Toilette. So for me in the Eros lineup, the Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, and the Parfum, the original lineup, those 3, I think the Parfum is probably the best, and that the Eau de Parfum is probably the Goldilocks fragrance for most people, because it sits in that sweet spot between the EDT and the Parfum, a little bit cheaper than the Parfum, a little bit richer, a little bit more grown up than the Eau de Toilette. Basically what I'm telling you is, of the EDT, the EDP, and the Parfum, I think the EDT is probably the one that I would leave out first, which is why it's down here. Still super versatile, good performance, people love this stuff. It is not just a club fragrance, you can wear this stuff about whenever you want, but I had to place it somewhere, so yeah. Club de Nuit up next from Armaf. So this one is the highest ranked clone fragrance. And realistically, if we were going off of impact alone, so if this list were based off of just the impact the fragrance has had, this would probably be in the top 5 because this stuff really helped kick off the clone wave that is now turned into a tsunami. It's of course a clone of Aventus by Creed, very affordable. The opening a little bit harsh, but as it dries down, super easy to wear, big compliment puller, great performance, great price. Stronger with You Intensely. Of course, by Emporio Armani. The only reason it's not ranked higher is because when it comes to Stronger with You, I actually prefer Absolutely or even the Parfum. Intensely is still really good, and it did help kind of take the Stronger With You line up another notch, make it more popular, which has kind of trickled out to other lines nowadays. But when I think of Stronger With You, the one that I want to wear, it's Absolutely, at least most of the time. Dylan Blue up next. Now listen, Dylan Blue as a day-to-day fragrance, a daily driver, is perfect. Sure, you can say, oh, this other blue fragrance did this better, or that one did this better, or smells more expensive, whatever. But if we're talking about the price you pay versus what you get, Dylan Blue, one of the best. Hands down, a compliment magnet, ultra versatile, wear it year round. To me, for what Versace wanted to do, it's pretty much perfect. You might say, well, it should be up higher. Just about everything past this point is just an absolute monster. Like, it gets to be where you don't even know what to do. Sure, I could swap this with something else, but you don't really feel good about that either. The next one in the list, Eros Flame. Yeah, another Eros, and interestingly enough, on Fragrantica, Eros Flame more popular than Eros Eau de Parfum, Parfum, obviously Energy, or Najim. And it does kind of make sense why, because Eros Flame is really low-key good, like good. I think it's more popular with people that are really into fragrances than people that aren't, but listen, if you're somebody who's just super casual and you've never smelled this and you maybe wrote off Eros EDT or all the Eros fragrances because you smelled that one and you thought, oh, it's just bubblegum sweet, I don't want that, you should check this stuff out, because Eros Flame smells fantastic. This stuff is killer. It's got a little bit of that sweetness to it, of course, but this one is a little more aromatic. It's maybe a little more buttoned up, but also very fresh. It's just a little spicier, a little more adult, a little more grown up. The performance is there, everything that you want is there, and it's not that expensive from discounters. Just a great buy. Okay, the next one is, this is rough. If we're talking about just straight up classic men's fragrances, this is one of the best. One of the tops of the tops, maybe not the most appealing to modern tastes. That's what we'll call it, modern tastes, but still an absolute classic. The reason that I don't have it higher up the list mainly comes down to one thing, which does kind of touch on that modern tastes aspect that I kind of just brought up, but it did not really set in motion a big wave after it. Not that necessarily everything after this fragrance did change the world. A lot of them did, but not necessarily all of them. But this is a fragrance that's almost self-contained into its own little world, right? Like everything that came after it is what this fragrance is. Most other brands did not go like, oh, we need a version. Terre de Metz. Now listen, I'm gonna give it its flowers. This stuff is timeless. Amongst a sea of sweet blue fragrances, this stands out. It's doing its own thing. It's classically gentlemanly, masculine, all of that. Also has very good usability and versatility as long as you're comfortable wearing it. It is the opposite of trend chasing. But also nowadays, lots of people don't really want to wear it. I know that a bunch of you out there do, like you guys that are into classic scents for sure. And you should, because it smells amazing. But it's just kind of a little out of touch for what most people are looking for nowadays. Le Beau Le Parfum is next in the list, and this right here is a certified compliment destroyer. Bronan the Barbarian style, it will command attention. Has a very tropical, fresh, sweet aspect to it. Coconut is in there, full force. The only issue is middle of summer, really hot, you wear that, it can be a bit much. But Le Beau Le Parfum just smells absolutely amazing. The only reason it's not higher is because we have officially entered the murderer's row of fragrances. Imagination is next up by Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton. Now, Imagination is an interesting one. It's kind of hard to rank for me because it has some very clearly defined pros and cons. For example, this has elite freshness, like truly elite. It has almost a luxury air type of scent profile to it. Just when you smell it, you're like, ooh, yeah, that does smell expensive. At least as much as a fresh citrusy sort of scent profile can. It's one of the few freshies that can come across smelling almost special, because that's difficult. fresh fragrances, a bunch of times people will just write off. They'll be like, oh yeah, it's fresh, it's clean, whatever. But it's not really special because it doesn't have that richness, that deepness that a lot of people associate with something being truly S tier. So it's one of the few freshies that can pull that off. That's really good. Some of the cons, it has been hyped to death, especially on TikTok. It's really expensive. And for a lot of people, they may go like, I don't know if it's really worth the price point considering what you can get from other brands for a lot less. The performance is also not that great, which to be fair, it is a fresh type of fragrance, but a bunch of clone brands have made a ton of money making imagination style fragrances that actually perform. So it has these pros and these cons, and it's like, well, where does it rank, you know? For me, here. A little headed toward the top, but I think the ones above it either change the game more or they give you more for a lot of times, a lot less. The next scent, Parfum Sommeliers Altair. This fragrance right here just kept leapfrogging other PDM scents until it's become pretty much the most popular one for men out there, which is crazy to think about because you go to PDM Layton. That one was hyped and heralded forever. And for good reason, the stuff smells amazing. People love it. So much so that they came out with Layton Exclusive. You know, it got the exclusive treatment, which honestly, when you think about it, they're probably gonna do that to this too, aren't they? I would be surprised if PDM doesn't come out with a flanker of this at some point, an exclusive flanker or absolute or something like that. It has taken over. And that is also reflected in the fragrance world. You can see so many different clone houses coming out with versions of this, whether it's a straight up one-to-one of this, like that right there, or now clones that are taking two different fragrances and putting it together, and one of the main fragrances of those two is this. Altair is a monster. Next up is Sauvage Eau de Toilette. Okay, so this is another one that's just really hard for me to rank. If we're talking about pure impact, this is top 3. If we're talking sales, this is number 1. The most popular men's fragrance ever. That's what this is. You cannot take that away from this scent. Its versatility is just about unmatched. Its performance is fantastic. It gets attention like nobody's business. You can wear this anywhere. It is perfect for what Dior wanted, which was a counterbalance to Bleu de Chanel. The only reason I have it here and not higher is because it is everywhere. And look, some of the other fragrances coming after this are also everywhere. But when it comes to the blue fragrance triumvirate, the big 3, this one is the one that I personally reach for the least. But if you wanted to make an argument that this has to be top 5 because of the impact it's had, I would not argue with you at all. I'd say, yeah, you got a good point. So we're at what now? Top 10, the most wanted parfum. This for a lot of people is the pinnacle of the most wanted lineup. It is one of the best current warm vanilla gourmand adjacent type of scent profiles, which you're gonna find that everywhere nowadays. The performance is great for a night out in fall and winter time. This stuff is amazing. Absolutely love how this smells, and it did kind of evolve off of, in a way, the Stronger With You lineup. It's like taking that style and trying to make it better almost. Bleu de Chanel up next. This is the Eau de Parfum. Same deal with Sauvage, okay? Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum, game changer. Essentially, this planted the blue fragrance seed. Sauvage watered it. Because this was the first real big blue fragrance, and then Dior saw the success and they were like, well, what if we came out with our version and it absolutely annihilated the competition? And after that, every single fragrance brand had to get their version out there. So in terms of the modern, versatile men's fragrance, these two, realistically, just about the most important ever made. Now, as far as side by side, I wear Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum more than Sauvage Eau de Toilette, so that's why it's up here and slightly ahead of that. Number 8, Le Male Le Parfum. That one takes the original DNA of Le Male, modernizes it, makes it a little bit darker, more for an evening out, gives it a nice touch of iris, some very sexy smelling spices, and still has that vanilla front and center. Myself by YSL up next. Now, if you weren't around when Bleu de Chanel came out, Sauvage came out, and by weren't around, I mean you weren't keeping up with fragrances, you can kind of see how these change things by watching this. This line right here is almost rewriting and changing men's fragrances in real time right now. You can see it by the influence it's had already on other designer houses, which I'm sure will continue, because this is one of the best-selling men's fragrances out there today. Super fresh, very clean, a little bit of a laundry-esque vibe to it, the orange blossom front and center with some nice bergamot off the top, and an amber woody dry down. This right here is one of the best-selling men's fragrances in the world. And if we're talking about sales for just a single fragrance, not including the entire lineup, this realistically hangs with this. It is everywhere. Uomo Born in Roma Intense. It is a perfect fragrance if you want a year-round scent that is both fresh and sweet, that has great performance, works during day or evening, and in the air is magnetic. It's a fragrance that will consistently get you attention. Top 5, this one a little bit controversial, I'm sure. It is Y Eau de Parfum. For me, when it comes to the big 3 blue fragrances, I wear this one the most. It also does things a little bit differently. It's a little bit sweeter, so you're gonna have more apple in here. Of the big 3 blue fragrances, I wear this one the most. Great performance, very versatile, big attention grabber, and it is sweeter than the other 2. To be fair, if you're looking for just maximum versatility, period, you want Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. It also smells the classiest of the bunch. If you want the loudest one, the one that's gonna project more, get a little more attention, a little bit more bold, you want Sauvage. For me, Y Eau de Parfum, it's just in that sweet spot. Kind of does a little bit of both. And the additional sweetness that it has smells amazing in spring and fall, also during the winter. Middle of summer, a lot like Le Beau Le Parfum, tone it down. Le Male Elixir, number 4. I do prefer this one over the Parfum, though they both smell pretty similar. You're gonna have a little more sweetness with this, a bunch of honey in here, amazing performance, just a really good attention-grabbing scent. Top 3. Coming in at number 3, Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, if you were mad at Dior before for Sauvage, where that kicked off the whole blue fragrance wave, well, you can be mad at them again, because Sauvage Elixir kicked off the Elixir wave. After this fragrance came out, pretty much every single brand looked at it and they went, that's a good idea. Why didn't we think of this? We're gonna make a higher quality fragrance, we're gonna put it in a smaller bottle, we're gonna charge more money, we're gonna call that bad boy Elixir. It's genius. Hell yes. Every brand has done that. Ever since Sauvage Elixir came out, that has been the go-to flanker name for pretty much everything in existence. It changed fragrances forever. The scent itself, really nice. It has a throwback kind of style to it. Very woody, masculine, spicy. Lasts forever, cuts through the cold. It is expensive, but it is worth it. Number 2, Aventus by Creed. Another one where even if you hate the fragrance, you have to admit it changed the world. For better or worse, there are more Aventus style fragrances than I think anything ever made. There are niche fragrances that smell like Aventus. There are designer fragrances that smell like Aventus, and there are unholy numbers of clones that smell like Aventus. Is it expensive? Yes. Is it played out at this point? Yes. Does it still work in every single situation known to man? Yes. And that brings us to my number 1, which is a fanboy choice, Dior Homme Intense. Yep. Dior Homme Intense for me is a perfect fragrance. There is literally nothing I would change about it. Is it more of a special occasion scent? It is for sure. It's more of a fall, winter, formal type of scent. A lot of people are gonna wear this just a couple times a year, and that is a massive glaring con. But for an iris forward fragrance, that creamy sort of iris, this is as good as it gets in the designer realm, period. Now again, that is an absolute fanboy choice, okay? It did not have a massive impact on the entirety of fragrances forever. Were there fragrances that came out after this one that smell similar to it? Absolutely. But was it a scent that crushed the sales charts and inspired everything to change around it? No. If I take out my fanboydom and I'm just talking about the impact that the scent had, it would probably be somewhere around here. Probably like around Le Beau Le Parfum, Terre d'Hermès something like that. But this is my list, and so I'm gonna put it at first. So there we go. If you catch me on a different day, it would change up a bit, I'm sure, but for now, this is what I'm sticking with. It's honestly pretty tough to do. I wanna thank you guys for hanging with me. Let me know in the comments, what would be your top 3? Of these 25 specifically, what are your top 3 and why are those your top 3? Do you go solely for impact, like how much they changed the game? Do you go bang for buck? Do you go solely the quality of the fragrance? Do you go for versatility, wearability? Do you go for sales? Like what's the hierarchy? How are you coming up with it? I want to thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.